umaga sa lahat at nagbabalik na muli ang balitang makaluma. So saan nga ba muli ang ating magiging biyaheng istorya sa araw na ito?
Halina't bumiyahe sa makalumang mundo.
To discuss the Philippine government under the Spanish colonization period, let's hear from Pauline.
The pre-colonial period of the Philippines, Jose Rizal's annotation of Antonio de Morgas, Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas 1609, suggests that early Philippine society was not uncivilized and barbaric, but rather a level of civilization had already engulfed archipelago. The early river-based settlements of the natives shaped their way of life and political system. The legitimacy of a chief rested on customs, his capacity to serve the community, and his ability to win wars against other chiefs. The authority of a dato rested on charisma rather than inheritance. Dynasties were difficult to establish in the pre-colonial Philippines, as power could be claimed by anyone with merits and talent. The state government was referred to as the barangay, and the chief dato was the maker and implementer of laws, military, commerce, politics, religion, and judiciary. However, the power of a chief varies from settlement to settlement, with some communities having almost absolute authority and others having only judicial powers.
To continue the report, we have Nicole and Pauline on air, live at the National Museum of the Philippines. Nicole and Pau?
Hello po sa inyo. So, narito po tayo ngayon sa isa sa mga sikat na lugar sa bansa, ang Intramuros. At kasama ko po ngayon si Pauline para makibalita sa nangyayari sa konstitusyon natin dati at mapakita sa atin ang iba't ibang nagkikita ng mga sikat na artista noon. So, Pauline, ano nga bang nangyayari sa konstitusyon natin dati?
Way back 1896 was the time that the Philippines separated from Spain. So the Katipunan Revolution in 1897 led to the Tejeros Convention, where the first presidential and vice presidential elections in the Philippine history were held. On November 1, 1897, Aguinaldo declared the Biak na Bato Republic, with the constitution borrowed from Cuba and a Supreme Council and centralized government. However, the revolutionary leadership departed from these aims and consented to a truce and exile in Hong Kong. This decision evoked different interpretations from Philippine history, with nationalist historiography interpreting it as a strategic move of revolutionary leadership or a capitalist venture. The revolutionary leadership and mediator of the Pact of Biak na Bato become the main target, with historical relevance equivocal. National artist Nick Joaquin deviated from national historiography, focusing on Aguinaldo's psychological depths and his equivocal attitude toward his intellectual betters. To continue with the colonization era, the Philippines became a crown colony of Spain from 1565 to 1821 under the administration of the Council of Indies. Spain ruled the Philippines until 1898 when Mexico declared independence. Revolts against oppression and injustice began with the Cavite Mutiny of 1872, leading to the propaganda movement. Jose Rizal, a Filipino propagandist, wrote Noli Me Tangere and founded the civic association Liga Filipina. The Katipunan, led by Supremo Andres Bonifacio, called for the Philippine separation from Spain in 1896.
So yun nga yung mga nangyari sa Philippine government atin under the Spanish colonization period. So to continue our journey, let's hear naman from Faith kung ano naman ang nangyari sa constitution natin.
In 1898, the Philippines was involved in the war between the United States and Spain. Despite the Filipino Revolutionaries' declaration of independence on June 12, the Americans only sent their forces when fortune and odds were in their favor. The Americans employed trickery and deceit, as a divided victory in Manila was impermissible. The U.S. purchased the archipelago from the Spain in December 1898, leading to the establishment of Malolos Republic with an established constitution. The Malolos Constitution was the first republican constitution in Asia, incorporating a detailed Bill of Rights, secularism, and the unicameral legislative branch. However, the Constitution also revealed bordering social stratification and polarization across different classes. The franchise was limited to men of high social standing and education, with a Congress composed of elite and middle-class individuals. This historical tragedy was evident in General Noriel's tears upon seeing the American flag hoisted over the insurgent advance position. With that being said, in 1898, the Philippines was involved in the US-Spain War, leading to the establishment of Malolos Republic with a constitution that was the first republican in Asia. The constitution revealed social stratification and polarization, with the franchise limited to the high-status individuals. The power between executive and legislative branches was debated, with Apolinario Mabini advocating for a strong president and Principalia and Ilustrado fearing a oligarchic republic. This debate foreshadowed future contests over governance, particularly during crisis.
So ganun pala ka-gravity ng mga nangyayari in the past. So now moving on, may masabi ka ba, Janelle, with the Malolos Constitution natin?
Clinton argued that the American government should focus on the limitation of authority and division of power rather than creating authority and power accumulation. In the Philippines, the American government implemented this Western-centric approach through commissions to modernize the political system. The establishment of representative system led to the creation of 1,035 municipal and 31 provincial governments. However, elections led to political bonds and patronage networks, and the Philippines Assembly failed to foster national consciousness. Governors like Quezon and Osmania used legislative attacks and back-scratching to gain power.
So ano nga bang nangyari sa posisyon ni Manuel Quezon?
In 1935, Manuel Quezon became the Philippines President, Vice President, and National Assembly due to fear of revolt. He used tactics like bribing legislatures, strengthening policy proposals, and creating a Commonwealth Army. Quezon introduced welfare measures and resettlement programs. The 1935 Constitution guaranteed independence and provided a unicameral National Assembly.
So para malaman naman natin kung anong nangyari ng Second Republic, let's hear from Janelle kung paano nag-start ang republikang ito.
On December 8, 1941, the Japanese launched an air raid on Philippine military bases, resulting in the Japanese government brief occupation of the Philippines. In 1943, the Japanese granted the Philippines independence and created the Second Republic. The 1943 Constitution was drafted by the Preparatory Committee appointed by the Philippine Executive Commission and ratified by the Calibapi Assembly. Jose P. Laurel was appointed president, criticized by the Japanese for critiquing the US's handling of the Philippines. However, the Second Republic faced criticism and new expectations, with some politicians promoting anti-colonial nationalist movements and others restoring the nationalisms of the Philippine Revolution. President Laurel defended his position, arguing that the collaboration served as a deterrent to Japanese abuses and opened a space for long-suppressed anti-imperialist sentiments. As the war continued, Laurel was abandoned by his colleague and lost his position as president. General Douglas MacArthur returned with massive military forces, causing massive destruction in Manila. After the war, the elite survived and ushered in a new political era that altered the economic and political makeup of the Philippines.
Now let's proceed with the Third Republic.
The Third Republic, the post-war Philippine presidents faced a weak state recovering from World War II, with local bosses and landlords holding de facto authority. The radicalization of urban and rural peasants was further fueled by the Hukbong Bayan Laban sa Hapon or Hukbalahap, which renamed itself the Hukbong Mapagpalaya ng Bayan, also known as the People's Liberation Army, and changed its counter-offensive. The challenges faced by the Third Republic presidents included the failure of the government to restore the economy, corruption, and the Cold War between the Communist USSR and the US.
Sino nga ba ang mga presidenteng hinarap ang mga problema o challenges noon, mapadomestic man or international problems man yan? Ngayon ay kilalanin natin sila.
Starting with Manuel Rojas, the first president of the Third Republic faced pressure to revive the Philippines economy after war and nation-state. The Belgrade Act of 1946 favored American entrepreneurs, led to corruption, a balance of payment crisis, and inflation. Roxas' death in 1948 worsened the situation. Next is Elpidio Quirino. Quirino's regime faced unrest, leading to U.S. approval of import and exchange control. Philippine economic planners developed import substitution, receiving $250 million in loans. The National Economic Council and Budget Commission played crucial roles, but corruption and political malaise led to Quirino's defeat in 1953. Ramon Magsaysay, a reformist politician from a lower-class background, gained popularity through various social forces. After winning the election, he pursued social and political reforms, passing Republic Act 997, managing the national budget, and creating the Presidential Assistant for Community Development. Next is Carlos P. Garcia. Ramon Magsaysay, a reformist politician from a lower-class family, gained popularity through various social forces including military officers, professional associations, the CIA, the Catholic Church, anti-communist labor, and peasant associations. His humble background and his non-traditional political approach made him a man of the people. After winning the election, Magsaysay continued to pursue social and political reforms, passing Republic Act 997, managing the national budget, and creating the Presidential Assistant for Community Development or PACD. He also created a new government office to help farmers and received financial assistance from American officials. However, Magsaysay was killed in a plane crash in 1957 and his vice president Carlos P. Garcia continued his presidency. Last is Diosdado Macapagal. Macapagal promised to deviate from his predecessor's nationalist policy and open the economy to world trade. He established the Program Implementation Agency or the PIA to achieve his promises, which included currency decontrol and boosting agricultural exports. However, entrenched family-owned conglomerates such as the Lopez family diversified and fought against Macapagal's efforts. The Congress accused Macapagal of dictatorial tendencies, leading to only 3 of his 26 socio-economic bills becoming law. Macapagal's term was marked by corruption and he was defeated by Ferdinand Marcos Sr. in the 1965 election.